If you are a high-performing man in your 40s or your 50s and your energy has collapsed seemingly out of nowhere, this isn't just your age or you being close to burnout. What's actually happening is a quiet biological crash that slowly erodes your focus, your drive, and your age. So over the past 3 decades, I've worked with successful men who run companies, close deals, and lead teams. And I've noticed something they almost all have in common. And that's that they don't realize that their discipline to achieve financial success is actually what's accelerating their physical and mental decline. I'm 48 years old, so trust me, I have lived this myself. So when most men hit their late 40s or early 50s and start getting more belly fat, they're losing their energy, and they're struggling with decision fatigue and brain fog, they assume it's just because they are getting old. So they try harder, they cut calories, they push through the fatigue. So here's the reality. After working with hundreds of men in this exact situation and going through this myself, I can tell you the problem isn't willpower. The problem is your cortisol. Cortisol is your primary stress hormone, and it's supposed to follow a rhythm. High in the morning to give you energy and focus, moderate throughout the middle of the day, and then low at night so you can recover and sleep properly. But when you spend your days bouncing between back-to-back meetings, checking email in the morning before your nervous system is even awake, eating lunch around 2 or 3 p.m. because you skipped breakfast, and going to bed with a ton of work thoughts still buzzing in your head, your cortisol stays elevated. And when cortisol is chronically high, 3 things happen. First, your blood sugar becomes unstable. And that's why you get brain fog, those afternoon energy crashes, and constant cravings for sugar and carbs. Second, your sleep is not recharging your battery properly. You might be in bed for 7 hours, but you're only getting around 30 minutes of actual deep sleep. Third, your body starts storing more fat around your belly regardless of how clean you eat. This isn't weakness, this is your biology, and it happens to us all as we get older. When you were in your 20s and 30s, you could have survived on hours of sleep, crushed a stressful week, eat like absolute garbage, and still have tons of energy for the weekend. Your body had a margin to support this, but now you're in your 40s and your 50s or beyond, you do all the right things, and you still feel worse than you did 10 or 20 years ago when you weren't even trying. So that's not a character flaw, that's a hormone cascade. Your drive, your ambition, your refusal to slow down, and this creates a vicious cycle. When your testosterone drops, your body loses its ability to keep cortisol in check, and when cortisol stays elevated, it suppresses testosterone even more. If you add the wrong exercise and nutritional approach on top of this, intense workouts when you're already feeling depleted, calorie restriction when your metabolism is already fighting against you, you don't actually break the cycle, you don't improve, you accelerate the negative aspect. So this is why generic advice has failed you so far, because not everyone experiences this in the same way. Over the last few decades, I've identified 4 distinct patterns, and knowing which one of these you fall into determines what actually is going to work best for you. So there's pattern 1, which is adrenal overdrive. And if you have trouble falling asleep, even though you're exhausted, if you have stubborn belly fat, but your arms and legs and your limbs are generally lean, if you crash in the afternoon all the time, but then get a second wind in the evening, this is most likely you. Pattern 2 is burnout. This is when you wake up exhausted, no matter how much you sleep. You've lost your mojo and there's no more morning wood. Exercise leaves you depleted instead of energized, and you feel flat and emotionless by the afternoon when nothing feels urgent anymore. Your system is running on absolute empty, and you're pushing harder only makes you feel worse. Pattern 3 is inflammation. If you're dealing with brain fog and decision fatigue, bloating, joint pain, skin blemishes and issues, or your weight fluctuates 3 to 5 pounds from week to week, then you likely have chronic low-grade inflammation. This is common with people who travel more, have poor sleep, and have generally very high stress schedules. Then we have pattern 4, which is metabolic resistance. And if you've done years of unsustainable diets, extreme calorie restriction, or badly structured fasting protocols, your metabolism has essentially adapted to fight against you. Maybe you gain weight easily even when you eat clean, and you lose muscle the moment you stop doing weight training. Your body has learned to hold on to fat as a survival mechanism. Each of these 4 stress patterns requires a completely different approach to get past them. That's why generic fitness advice fails business leaders and high performers. It doesn't fix the root cause. So now let's talk about what actually does work. Step 1 is stabilizing your cortisol rhythm. That means regulating your nervous system before you worry about restricting calories. It means protecting your sleep quality, not just your total time in bed. And it means creating buffer space in your schedule so you have the mental freedom to make better decisions without feeling under so much pressure. Step 2 is eliminating your hidden energy drains. Most leaders think they've optimized their calendar, but they're still exhausted by 2 p.m. because of hundreds of micro decisions bleeding that mental bandwidth all day long. Fixing this alone has helped me recover at least 5 to 10 hours per week with leaders I work with. Step 3 is matching your nutrition to your current biology, not generic clean eating, a strategy designed around your stress pattern, your schedule, and your body's current state. And when you do this in the right order, your biology starts working with you instead of against you. Energy comes back within days, and your sleep improves, and fat loss happens as a side effect instead of a constant struggle. So if you're watching this and thinking this describes exactly what's been happening to you, I've put together a free energy audit tool that identifies which of the 4 patterns you fall into and what to do about it. The link is somewhere below this video. It takes about 2 minutes, and it'll show you exactly why your body has stopped responding and what the right next step is for your specific situation.